Shalom, everyone. This is Amir Tsarfati, and I'm on a special update from Galilee, from my home. And this is a historic day, very, very important to Israel, and I believe to every Bible prophecy lover. So I'll wait a few seconds, and I want to, of course, address the historic acknowledgement of the Golan Heights as Israeli territory that President Trump just gave a few minutes ago, ahead of the visit of Benjamin Netanyahu on Monday to the White House. Ladies and gentlemen, I know that everybody was super excited about Jerusalem. Everybody's super excited about recognizing Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. But let me tell you something. Recognizing the Golan Heights as an Israeli territory is the thing that I believe will accelerate the advance of the northern, may I say, front into a confrontation. You need to understand that as far as the Syrians are concerned, this is Syrian territory. Israel annexed the Golan Heights in 1981. Menachem Begin was the prime minister. But historically, this is part of the tribe of Menashe. And historically, even if in modern days, this was part of the Palestine that the British Mandate was supposed to prepare as a homeland for the Jewish people. It was a deal between the French and the British for swapping some territories, and then the French received it, and then they gave it to Syria, part of the independent Syria that they created. But originally, it was a territory that was promised as a homeland for the Jewish people, part of the original Balfour Declaration. And historically, this place is part of the tribes of Israel, and you do not find in that place any Arab archaeological findings of biblical times, of course. You can find there 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th century synagogues. You can find there even earlier periods Jewish presence there. One thing for sure, Arab, Syrian, you can't find there, not until much later. So historically, politically, and even from the international law, it is part of Israel. And President Trump, just like he did with Jerusalem, he acknowledged the obvious. With Jerusalem, it's obvious, it's the capital of Israel. He acknowledged that last year. And this year, he acknowledged the obvious. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a historic day. Prime Minister Netanyahu just congratulated Donald Trump for his very brave decision. Hopefully will continue and taken by other nations as well. But remember, who is now controlling Syria? It's Russia. Remember, what is it that we have in the Golan, oil and gas? Remember, what is it that Syria wants in its presence? It's the spoils of war. Ladies and gentlemen, this decision, if you ask me, is one gigantic step towards Russian aggression that will come against Israel, because obviously Vladimir Putin will not like this decision. It takes a chunk of what he may have hoped to get in the future if he stays there. We've heard enough rumors from the Russians that once the civil war in Syria will come to an end, they will demand the Golan Heights back to Syria. So this is amazing. This is a historical day. This is a unprecedented thing. A U.S. president against the stand of Europe and the stand of the rest of the nations of the world is recognizing Israel's sovereignty on the Golan Heights. And the meaning is that from now on, when America will help Israel, or when America will refer to Israel, the Golan will be part of it. In the official maps of Israel, the Americans will have to add the Golan Heights. And in every other discussion over the future of Israel and the security of Israel, the Golan Heights will be considered an Israeli territory. Even for future negotiations, We literally today removed from the table even the option of returning the Golan to Syrian hands. This is an amazing day. This is a historic day. It is our ancestral homeland. It is a place where Jews lived. It is a place where the children of Israel dwelled. It is a place mentioned in the Bible. By the way, some of you may not know that, but Golan was the name of one of the refuge cities in the territory called Bashan. If in the Old Testament the territory was called Bashan, in modern days it's called Golan. But the name Golan appears in the Old Testament as the name of one of the cities of refuge. If you accidentally killed someone, if you accidentally committed some sort of felony, you could run to that city of refuge, because obviously there was no intention to do that, and you could live there. Every tribe had those type of cities at the time, and the tribe of the other half, the half of Menashe, had Golan as one of its refuge cities. And of course, throughout the course of the years, the name Golan now becomes the name of the entire region. So, ladies and gentlemen, an amazing, amazing, amazing day today. I'm going to find it hard to fall asleep. I believe that we just maybe we are waking up the Russian giant, the Russian bear right now from its deep sleep in Syria. Right now, Russia is super passive in Syria. Russia is trying to be the policeman there. But it could be that we, in light of this decision, we may have lost the alliance that we had with Russia, and they might become more aggressive towards us. Definitely, they do not agree with that, just like they never agreed with Jerusalem being the capital with that unanimous decision, but unilateral decision. But remember, Jerusalem, whether it's the capital of Israel or not, it's not affecting Russia at all. But when Russia is right on the border of the Golan, and Russia is having its eyes on the spoils of war that are on the Golan Heights, you betcha that they are going to not be happy with Israel being now officially the owner and the sovereign on the Golan Heights. President Trump does not cease to amaze me. I'm not a Republican. I never voted for him. We've never seen in our lifetime, as a state of Israel, a president that is so dedicated to the security of Israel, to the future of Israel, and to the peace of Israel. And may I add one more thing? And I'm telling that to the Jewish people in America. The Republican Party is friendlier to you than the Democrat Party. Right now, the Democratic Party is a house of anti-Semitic, anti-Israel, anti-Jewish people that are not being condemned, and they're not being held responsible for the horrific things that they're doing. The Democratic Party had been infiltrated by the Islamic Jihad, by the Muslim Brotherhood, and they're in the House of Representatives of the United States of America on behalf of the Democratic Party. And I can tell you one thing: if there is one president, if there is one politician that kept on defending the Jewish people and the state of Israel from the vicious attacks of Ilhan Omar and of Talib and others, this is President Donald Trump. And so I know the enemy is going to try to flip that. I know the enemy is going to try to accuse him for hating Jews. Every white supremacist is being attached to a Trump supporter title, and even the Hollywood actor that basically directed and created a false assault on him in the streets of Chicago. Of course, what he did, he came up with this story of them wearing a MAGA hat and then being Trump supporters. But the reality is that things are much different. So I want to encourage all of you to to be excited about the things that are happening, and to be excited about this decision. This is beyond exciting to me. I've been excited probably only as much as when he declared Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. I've got here a friend, Elon, רוצה לבוא למצלמה? I've got here a friend of mine. Today is Purim. I'm going to tell you something. Purim is the Jewish holiday. Well, Purim is the Jewish holiday. This is Mr. Luigi. Mr. Luigi is my little boy who dressed up like Super Mario's assistant. And I'll tell you something about Purim. Many of you don't know that, but the reason why Jews are wearing costumes and all of that, it's also to fulfill fantasies of so many people of looking like this or dressing like that. That's fine. But the verse that we are sort of like trying to take it from is in Esther chapter 2, verse 20, when the Bible says, and so the Bible says that Esther came to the palace, but Esther did not reveal her Jewish descent. In other words, in a way, she disguised herself to be someone else. This is an amazing story, by the way. Amazing story of how God preserved the Jewish nation. It was then the Iranians. Haman was an Iranian, Persian, who tried to annihilate the people of Israel. It was then the Iranians. And today, it's the Ayatollahs. They are the new version of Haman. And I can tell you, they couldn't do it then, and they cannot do it today. God is out there to protect Israel. And may I add, he's even using President Donald Trump to take some bold decisions that are definitely helping Israel. Okay, Luigi is back, this time with his mustache. So he wants you all to see him. So I just want you to know, Esther chapter 2, verse 20, this is it. And I want you to know that they say that history repeats itself. Well, I can tell you one thing. The same powers of darkness and evil who wanted to destroy us in the Old Testament times are the same powers and darkness that wants to destroy us today. We talked about it. There's evil, and the evil is against God, and they cannot see God, and they cannot fight God, so they come against God's people. Now, the people of God may not know sometimes that they're the people of God. You don't even find the name of God once in the story of Esther, in the entire book of Esther. But they knew. They may have not known exactly how God preserved them, but they knew one thing. They need to fast, they need to pray, and they need God to help them. They need to seek a much higher entity than one another. And of course, the Lord has always preserved them. So I want to encourage all of you. God is out there to perform his will and to perform his word and to protect his children. Just as he did in the old times, he is going to do it also in the future. And Israel had to go through terrible things in its past, and it will go through terrible things, but God never failed to be there when they called upon his name and asked for him to come. And that's what's going to happen. So Mr. Luigi is a happy guy. This is the happiest day for the Jewish kids, especially in Israel. We just came back from our church. We had a Purim party over there. And on the way over here, I heard the news about Trump acknowledgement of the Golan Heights as Israel's territory. Wow. I'm excited. And I needed to tell you how important this one is, and how symbolic it is for me as a Jew, as an Israeli from the tribe of Judah, living in Galilee. I'm a Jew from Galilee. It's how symbolic it is to me that on the day that we mark the miraculous salvation of the Jewish people from the vicious plan of the enemy to attack and destroy. On this very day, President Donald Trump is also acknowledging the Golan Heights as Israeli territory. And what did he say? Almost the same that he said about Jerusalem. It is about time that we acknowledge that. Yes, it is about time. Thank you for doing that now, almost 50 years late. Thank you for acknowledging Jerusalem as capital, almost 70 years late. But thank you for acknowledging the truth. And yes, as you said, it is about time. It's about time that the world will understand that also, but I don't have great expectations from the rest of the world. America is our best friend at the moment. I fear that the powers of evil are trying, not only there, also here. And I'm going to give you a Facebook Live update on Sunday on what's going on with the elections in Israel. There are powerful powers of darkness that are trying to attack Netanyahu from all directions, and all the elites in the country, the media, the security forces, the legislative, judicial system, all of them are ganging against him, so he will not be elected. It's just amazing to see that it is so obvious that they're looking every day for more and more things on him, and they just can't understand that every time they're trying, God is revealing one more thing, one more amazing thing that is so good about having him as the prime minister of Israel. Israel has never been better than what it is now. We've never had recognition of Jerusalem. We've never had recognition of the Golan. We've never had our economy so strong. We've never had our security so strong. We've never had our, literally every side of our life is 100 times better than 10 years ago. We must thank God for that. And we have to thank our leaders also that God has appointed. And by the way, for those who are in America, America today is far better than America 2 years ago, and you know that. On Sunday, I will address not only the elections in Israel, not only the evangelical concerns about Trump's peace plan, but I will also talk to you about the New Zealand attack and the aftermath of the New Zealand attack. Look, what's going on right now is amazing over there, and we'll talk about that one. We'll see how the media completely twisted everything and now endearing Islam, and it is being perceived as the most peaceful and persecuted religion, where in reality it is the most violent religion in the world that is persecuting every other religion on its way. We'll talk more about other things as well, and but until then, I wanted to tell you happy Purim. I wanted also to congratulate President Trump and the United States of America for an amazing decision. And I want all of you to be on your knees and pray and be excited at the same time, but pray, because we're entering into a new phase right now, a brand new phase, a phase where the North is now on the table. It's not just Jerusalem now. Jerusalem will be left to the story of the Antichrist with temple or no temple. It's going to be the Golan Heights. It's going to be the North. It's going to be the northern front that eventually bring about the war of Ezekiel, and it is quite amazing. Well, thank you again. I'll talk to you more on my weekly Middle East update on Sunday. I think it's going to be 5 p.m. Jerusalem time. So it's a 7 a.m. Sunday morning California time, and it's a 10 a.m. on East Coast. And you can do the math for the rest of the world. Thank you. I love you. Shalom. Elon, אתה רוצה להגיד shalom? Say shalom. Shalom, everyone. תגיד, I love you.
I love you.
I love you.
I
love
you.
you. Yes. Bye-bye. Shalom.